Hello traders, welcome back to the Forex channel. Like I always say in the start of these videos, you can probably tell from the title which video we're actually doing today, and it is another weekly breakdown from my past week on the charts. Just going through, the trades I've taken, the trades I've missed, maybe might add a bit of, psychology into it as well. What was I thinking when I was in these trades? What was I thinking when I was closing these trades? That sort of thing, just to mix it up rather than just being, I entered here, I closed here, got a stop loss hit here, that sort of thing, if you know what I mean. So we're going to start with some missed trades. And if you guys are new to the channel, if you look back on my channel, any previous videos, any videos I've made on like my strategy, so to speak, it has mainly been focused on XAU USD or spot gold. So the reason I actually traded this was when I actually started trading, when I was around 16, it was pretty much the only pair I actually knew. The only one I actually traded, the place where I actually first learned to trade, mainly focused on gold. So that's pretty much where I actually focused on. At the start for the first like 6 months to a year, just losing money on it, which is bound to happen unless you're some trading god. But this is the pair I started on, and it's been quite tricky in the past couple of weeks for me. I had some unfortunate trades on gold. I had 3 trades in a row miss my entry by like 0.1, 0.2 pips. So it was quite annoying. So I had 3 trades just miss 2 weeks ago. Then we had a 2% winner. So it kind of made up for it. It's only 2%, but a win is a win. This week I was actually looking to short gold, further. I said in my group, with my update videos I send in there too, that there's no chance we're looking for buys unless obviously we break structure to the upside, which didn't happen. The whole week was pretty much downside movement. I don't use trend lines, but as you see, if you are using that to sort of work out the trend, you can kind of see, okay, we're in this downwards trend, so we're going to be looking for further sell positions. We had structure, broken, just continuous moves to the downside. So we were obviously looking for sell positions on this pair. When price actually broke this level, the 1825 level, there was a H4 level, kind of in between this, just below the 1825. What I wanted to see was a push back up to this sort of level at 1832, 1831 sort of area to actually sell down to, the 1800 level. Do you see I had this area marked at 1800? If we actually saw, further downside from that, then I had a level at 1795.33. So these were the sort of levels I was actually looking at trading from. However, gold didn't really want to play ball. It wanted to test me again and not come back to my entry. But you see here, overnight at around 11:30, we had this massive wick of almost 100 pips. Just, pretty much out of nowhere, within like 5 minutes, it just wicked down back up. So a lot of people would have obviously been stopped out or been entering trades on that. But as you see, yet again, very, very close, around 35 pips from my level. I'm not saying that's very, very close, but it's a lot nicer knowing that, okay, I was 35 pips away rather than having 0.2 pips away, seeing as, okay, if I just added spread onto my entry, I could have been in the trade. So that sort of thing is, something to think about. And why I actually do when this sort of thing happens, when I'm confident an area is going to give me an entry, then it doesn't, and then still goes in the same direction I was actually intending on trading. This is when I actually use my trading journal. So I've actually made a video recently on how I, it's a longer video on the channel. I know people don't like the longer videos because of the attention span of people these days is a lot less than previously. So that's why people like the 5-minute videos, the 6-minute videos, but let's not go into that. So I made a video talking about, how I use my trading plan, my trading journal to actually improve everything. I mentioned that I journal even on non-trading days. So this was the kind of scenario where it'd be absolutely perfect to use that trading plan, that trading journal, to kind of learn from a mistake. So when I miss a trade like this, I got to think, okay, how could I have got in on this pair? Following the plan I already have, maybe I was using a different time frame than I would usually use. And you can look at all these sort of things, go through your checklist on your plan. How could I have caught this trade? If there's no way you could have caught it, fine, the trade setup wasn't there for you. But if there are ways you actually could have caught it, you didn't see it at the time, you only saw it after, then you can improve from this. You can notice, okay, I'm missing these sort of setups, and then improve from that. So this short zone here actually missed. And then we had another one here, a short zone, which once again missed by 4 pips. So we haven't been very lucky on gold in the past 2 weeks even, making only like 2%. But luckily GU has saved me. GU has made me rich. Moving on to GU now. Actually, before we do that, look at that 1800 level. Absolutely perfect psychological level on gold. Wick, boom, gone off that level. However, obviously you can't just say, okay, if it goes to 1800, I'm going to buy. You kind of have to have other reasoning for this, and that is why I didn't actually just enter as soon as it tapped into 1800. You could have made like a 1 to 9, 1 to 10, depending on your stop loss size, but I don't trade if it doesn't fit my plan. Moving on to GU, as you guys can probably see, it did move a lot nicer this week, and this was the actual first setup we caught on GU. Personally, myself, I only entered 2 trades this week, and I'll show you the MT4 at the end. I was trading on a funded account just due to, for this month, I was up on my personal account, the amount I actually aim to achieve in the whole month, so I'm just not going to trade it. What I do is I might make a whole video on how I grow my personal account, how I actually trade it differently from funded accounts, because if you guys want to see that, comment it down below, because I know a lot of you guys will be interested. But when I actually am done trading on my personal account, I'll just go to the funded accounts. Obviously you can take the same trades and then you'll technically be done on both, but personal account is always the main goal, because that's my own money. It's not someone else's money or some other prop firm's money. It's my own money, so that's what I'm focusing on growing. Prop firm could close down at any time, your money could be gone. That personal account, I'm trying to build the long-term track record. I have a public WillssFX book that I'm trading that account on now. So you had that sort of accountability to actually take the best trades, not overtrade, and that sort of thing. So we've taken 2 trades on my personal account this month to make 5.5%. Again, no gold trades because I just haven't found the setups. That's probably why my percentage is a bit lower, because I usually make like 15 to 20% a month on gold solely. And because I'm not really used to trading the forex pairs, and the setups have been there, but the risk to reward is a tiny bit lower for me personally. So this was the setup I actually took, the first one on GU. So we had this area. Obviously, you could say we just broke structure to the upside. My plan suggests that this is going to be a nice short setup. So you could say this is just the consolidation. Boom. This is where we actually got tagged in. I had a sell limit. Luckily, the spreads on the broker, the funded broker, were actually very, very decent, and we actually got tagged into this trade. I think I had 8 pip stops, like that, like it says, 8 pip stops, something around there. And I was obviously targeting this low, because this was, the London low for the session, at the time being. And then price went down. If we play it on a bit, you came back up, and based on my plan, I closed out for around 2% profit, 2%. And the way I actually trade funded accounts is very, very differently, because you've got to think about, we've got personal account. If your TP is 5%, you can hold to that 5%, absolutely perfect. Doesn't really matter. But with these bigger accounts, like 200k, 400k, I think you could trade up to 2 million. I like to take my profit a bit earlier, because there's obviously benefits of trading funded accounts. If you want to just trade them exactly the same, then by all means do that. Myself personally, I try and make 5%, 5 to 10% profit on a funded account. On this personal funded account that I'm actually trading, video series coming soon, the challenge verification and funded stage, I'm actually up around, as you can see, you'll see the second GU trade in a second, but there we go, around $9,700 from 2 trades taken. And you'll see the losses are only, not the losses, the wins are like 2%, 3%. But then the risk rewards are a lot higher on the setups, because I just want to take the profit. Technically it's free money. If you had £4,000, £5,000 in front of you just sat there, would you take it? Of course you would. Or would you rather have the risk of having 10k, 20k? You're kind of gonna gonna take the 5k. So my personal account, always hold till TP. Always, always, always. This account, the funded account, because it is technically free money, you know, you're kind of just making the most of it. Any money I make from that, I add to my personal anyway. So you see my fun and talent profits, my FTMO profits, this company's profits as well, all going to be added to my personal account, build it up to 7 figures, and then we'll be living good here over on the WillssFX channel. But that was the first GU trade I actually took. We go on to the hour now. You can kind of look at the second trade. This was actually a CPI trade, so I don't usually trade news. However, this area here, I was looking to buy GU from. And if we actually go back here, you can see when price actually got down to this area. If we go on a 5 minute, it's a bit clearer. So I actually entered here. That is the wrong way around. I'll just leave it like that. I can't be bothered to change the color. But this was the trade I actually took. Based on a 5 minute time frame, we had a 10 pip stop. Pretty sure. If I just check the lot sizes, yeah, 20 lots on a 200k account with 10 pip stop loss is 1% risk. So I got in here on the retest of this kind of like the lower this candle here on the 5 minute. Don't usually trade the 5 minute, but because it was kind of in an area I was interested in, went down to the 5 and then boom, TP hit. Absolutely lovely trade. The reason I made 3% from it, as I mentioned before, I trade funded accounts differently. People in the comments are going to be like, oh, you should have held. Well, yeah, my personal style makes money for me, has done for the last year or so, this particular style. Obviously I was trading differently before that, but this one absolutely works perfectly. So these are the only trades I've actually taken this week. If we look, you know, EU didn't take anything. Gold, what we can see next week. Let's see. So obviously these short zones now, technically I'm not going to be looking to sell from these areas. It's already hit my target, which I was actually aiming for, which was that 1800. Still see 1795, but we do have to break that 1800 barrier first. Very, very key level, especially on gold. So that sort of area there. We also have 1825, which is around this area here. As you see, this zone is actually 1824.42, near enough around that 1825 level. But you'll often see, as you see, price actually broke and retested that level. It doesn't do it to the pip, which is where a lot of people actually go wrong in their trading. They'll enter at 1800 with like a 10 pip stop, 20 pip stop. Most of the time you're going to get stopped out. I know obviously on this occasion you wouldn't have down here at 1800, but majority of times you can see, you know, price go 30, 40 pips and then drop, or 30, 40 pips below and then rise up above that sort of area. So you have got to be very, very careful. And obviously if that's in your plan, trade like that, perfect. Do what you want to do. Me personally, I always wait for that sort of confirmation in that area before I actually get into a trade, just because I don't want to be caught in that sort of, you can call it manipulation, but it's not really manipulation because they're not targeting your personal stop loss. But that sort of thing in the markets will be interesting. If we follow this downtrend, then, you know, we could see 1785, 1775. So I guess we'll see what happens. You know, it could just gap all the way up to the upside 100, 200 pips. So it will be interesting to see what happens. Follow my Instagram down below, and I'll see you guys next time.